God, I hope I don't get hit by a log truck while I'm filming this. Hi, and welcome to On the Fly, the movie review show where I give my unfiltered, unscripted, and initial thoughts on new releases and whatever movie I have not seen. Today's episode, Final Destination Bloodlines. So right out the gate, there is something that I've noticed with the Final Destination series and another horror series that I feel like they're in this like same weird, like they're like parallel to each other. They're doing almost the same kind of things. And something I've noticed with Final Destination is, one, I feel like Final Destination, it's been a while since I've watched all the older ones, admittedly. So I'm coming into this one like not really freshened up on the old Final Destinations, but there's something I have noticed with Final Destination. They seem to have started off really strong, and then they kind of, I mean, they've always kind of had this part, but they always try to up the ante on how intricate can we make some of these death scenes. And they kind of always had that, but the first couple were like always the strongest, and then for whatever reason they kind of started to dip a little bit. And then this new one, Final Destination Bloodlines, I thought was incredible. I thought it was really well done, and probably one of, if not the best Final Destination in the series. Another series that I've noticed is kind of doing this almost same thing. It's almost parallel with each other. Is the Saw series. Because like the first couple, I don't think anyone will argue are the best ones. But then after I'd say maybe Saw 3, they start to kind of dip a little bit, but then they become more so about how intricate can we make these traps? How intricate can we make these death scenes? Kind of like how Final Destination is. And then we hit the rock bottom known as Spiral. I did not like that movie. But then we got to Saw 10, and Saw 10 was actually really well done. It was a prequel to the first Saw movies, and it just worked really well. This Final Destination, I feel like, is kind of did the same sort of deal, where now we hit Bloodlines, and Bloodlines was very well done. Basically, the idea of Bloodlines is we have a character, her name is Iris, I believe that her name is Iris, where it starts off in like the 50s, and they're going to this brand new restaurant, the Skyview, and of course, typical Final Destination type of thing here, things go horribly wrong, and everybody dies. So now we're coming to find, and then like later we end up finding out that Iris survived. She survived this whole thing. Very similar to the old Final Destinations, where it's like a vision, and then the character sees what happens, and then they are able to stop it from happening. Then everybody lives. Same exact premise. If you've seen the other Final Destinations, you're gonna understand this one. So basically, everyone that survived is now on death's hit list because you can't escape death. You just can't do that. So now because this happened, everyone survived. Death is now starting to kill off everybody who survived that when they were supposed to die. During this entire time, the main character Iris is able to keep herself alive, and she has kids, they have kids, and now the whole idea is, hence the title of Bloodlines, is these people, these kids, these grandkids, they were not supposed to exist. They were never supposed to even be there because their grandmother was supposed to die at that Skyview. So now death is starting to come after not only everyone who survived the Skyview, but their kids and everyone in that bloodline in the order of which they were born. So, and as far as I'm aware, Final Destination has never really done something like that, which I thought was really interesting because, like, that is a good question. Like, what would happen if somebody were to survive death, if they were able to cheat death, survive death, and then were able to like have kids and stuff? Those kids technically are not supposed to be alive. So what would death do in that situation? This movie gives that to us, where it's going to go after the ones that survived, but then it's going to go after their spawn and keep going down the line until everyone that's either supposed to be dead or not supposed to even exist is dead. And then a lot of the movie, and I probably, in all honesty, it's not the most creative, I would say, because it is very much the same premise as the original, as all the other Final Destination movies. But I think that's a good thing with Final Destination, I think, because the Bloodlines thing is something that I believe is something new. It's fresh. We haven't really seen that kind of thought process in Final Destination before. But I think going into it, we know what to expect, which is not always a bad thing. Remember, I just brought up Saw. Same deal. That Saw 10, similar premise as all the other ones, but it was so good because it gave us something fresh, something new to add into the lore of the series. Final Destination Bloodlines does the same thing, really, and it did have some very intricate deaths, some really, really cool setups. I basically call Final Destination, hear me out on this one, if you've seen the other ones, you'll understand where I'm coming from. Final Destination Bloodlines, or this entire series in general, is basically cause and effect and foreshadowing the movie, because it shows you everything. And the cool thing is this is what I love about the Final Destination movies. This one definitely had it. You'll see, because when you start to get an idea of how this is supposed to work, like, you start seeing things like, oh, that just happened. So, oh, that just happened. So now you're starting to put things together about how this death is going to happen. What I love about it is this series is smart enough to know that we've seen a bunch of these already. We already know how this is probably going to go. And it takes it, freaking twists it. This one did that phenomenally. Like, there are different setups throughout this entire movie where I thought I had it. They set it up masterfully where I saw different things. I'm trying not to spoil this. This is the whole thing about On the Fly. I'm trying to give you guys my thoughts without spoiling too much, or anything at all. That's the plan. So basically, there are some parts where I saw and I'm like, and it gave you the clues. It gave you everything you need to put things together and to try and determine how things are going to happen. And then it doesn't do it. It goes a completely different route that you're like, what the? You don't even think about it. It doesn't even remotely enter your head that could happen. And then it happens, you're like, it just blows your mind. That's what I mean by, like, the foreshadowing, because there's stuff in the movie that it's foreshadowed early in the movie, and then it may not even happen. This is the other thing I really love about it. Some of them are very quick. You'll see it, you have it in your mind, it's fresh, so you're like, okay, that probably means something. But then there's some where you see, like, early in the movie, and it doesn't even come into play until later, to the point where you forgot about it. Like, you're trying to keep all these things, this mental checklist of things that you've seen. And it does a really good job at introducing something and then letting it drag to the point where by the time it's about to use it, it's already left your mind because all these other things happen. So then by the time it gets to that point, something happens. That's when you're like, oh, crap! We forgot that thing happened over here. So that's what I love about the Final Destination movies. They're very much cause and effect the movie, or foreshadowing the movie. And they do such a good job at it. This one shows just how good that the Final Destination movies have really come with that. And then, of course, we can't talk about Final Destination without talking about Tony Todd. I'm going to be perfectly honest. When he showed up on screen, I smiled. I smiled seeing him. And, of course, they did their scene. It fits in Final Destination. And it was his last couple lines. Now, I learned about this before I saw the movie. I did hear that there was a spot in the movie where they basically told him, tell us what you think you need to say, what you would like to tell the audience, and then to make it work. From what I'm understanding, those words that he said are from the heart. And now, knowing that Tony Todd has unfortunately left us, he has passed on, hearing those words in a movie about cheating death, it hits really, really hard. It really hits you in the heart. And you really take it to heart. Like after that moment, I found myself tearing up. Do you even understand how rare it is to watch a horror movie and tear up? Not in like a scared kind of way, but tearing up almost like in a, I don't want to say sad, but like, I don't even want to say happy either. Not really somber either. I don't know how to describe it, but kind of like inspired in a sense. Just the way he said it, and now knowing, and I mean, he passed before this movie came out, so it also hits harder knowing this too. When he passed, now his last lines, these are his last lines, and it's almost like his goodbye to all of the fans. And it fits so beautifully in with Final Destination as a series and the idea of Final Destination, and it just works out. So it's really rest in peace to Tony Todd, freaking horror legend. He's going out on a fantastic note. The basic gist of the Final Destination movies, and I think Tony Todd's last scene that is going to show up in a movie like this, it hits hard. It hits with Final Destination, and the whole idea with Final Destination is death is inevitable. He's always there. The Grim Reaper is always going to be standing there, no matter what you do. That's why I got a tattoo of a Grim Reaper on my arm, because the way I see it is you can't escape him. He's always going to be there. Death is inevitable. So the best thing I think anyone can do, and I think this is something that Tony Todd in that last line really, really conveys here. You can't escape it. You're never going to outrun it. It's always right there. You can fight it as much as you want, but it's never up to you when your life comes to an end. It is him, the Grim Reaper. He's always there. So the best thing you can do, knowing this, is to live your life to the fullest. Cherish every single moment that you have on this planet and live it. Live it. Don't just survive it. Live it. You can't survive life. So the best thing you can do is live it to the fullest with the short time that you have. I love that about this movie. I left this movie inspired. I left a horror movie inspired! But it's fantastic. Loved this movie. Definitely a good one you guys should check out. Horror movies have been hitting pretty freaking hard in 2025. But that's gonna do it for this episode of On the Fly. Till we meet again, guys. I will catch you guys later.